All right. Well, hello, and welcome everyone to our BG5 Live. Great to have all of you here today. Today is August 31st, the last day of August. Can you believe it's already the end of August? August 31st. This is episode 120. And today we're going to be taking a look at trait 40. And we're going to take a look at trait 40 in quality 4. So we're going to be taking a look at organizing what we deliver. So trait 40 is deliverance and quality 4 is organizing. So we're going to be taking a look at organizing what we deliver. So before we get started, let's say hello to our panel. So hello, and welcome. Again, we have Anna back with us. So it's really great to have you here. Welcome.
Thank you. I'm really happy to be back. Thank you.
Yes, we are glad to have you here. So welcome, Anna. And let's go to Shelley. Hey, Shelley, welcome.
Hi, everybody. Good to be here.
Great to have you. And Linda.
Yes, happy to be here and to deliver today.
Yes. And I believe all three of you have trait 40 in your design. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, cool. We all do. Great.
I don't. But Shelley and Anna, you have both have the strength, right, of the 3740, and Linda, you have the trait 40. So
yes,
be interesting to explore today. So looking forward to it. So thank you for being here, and thank you everyone who is here via Facebook, also watching on YouTube, and of course those that are live in our Zoom room. And for those of you who are live in our Zoom room, if you have trait 40 and you want to participate, also let us know as well. So let's jump in and get started. We're going to actually, first of all, hold on, get my screen here going. I just wanted to remind everyone, yesterday we did our BG5 August mini summit. So if you missed the mini summit, or if you'd like to watch it again, the replays are now available. It is 3 separate sessions. Each are about an hour long. And in session 1, we took a look at how to adapt and thrive personally. In session 2, we took a look at how to adapt and thrive with others. And then in session 3, we took a look at how to adapt and thrive with the global cycles. So you can see it both on YouTube. So you can see it on our YouTube channel. You can also go to the free resource library on our website at bg5businessinstitute.com as well, if you want to check out our free August mini summit. It was a lot of fun. It was so great working with Linda, and we had a blast delivering it and putting it all together. So hope you enjoy it. So again, the replay is now available, so I do invite you to check that out. Also, I wanted to give a heads up. We are starting our classes in September, and the early registration pricing is coming to an end. So if you are interested in joining us for one of our courses, you'll want to make sure that you do it here fairly soon because the early bird pricing is expiring soon. All right, so let's jump in and get started for today. Again, we are still in August. This is the last trait that we'll take a look at in August, and then we'll shift over to September. Again, we're taking a look at and sort of taking a look back at August as well, where timing is everything as we step into the future of sharing power and adapting to struggle, so that we can remove self-imposed barriers to organize the power of will to deliver through connecting and bonding with others. So again, the theme both for August and as we move forward into September is purpose fulfilled through connection, through bonding. So it really is connecting with others. So today we are going to be taking a look at, and there we go. We're going to be taking a look at deliverance. So this is aloneness. This is the power of the will to deliver. You can see as we move into September, September's going to be a little interesting here. We have abstraction. So we have confusion before completion. We have rationalization, finding meaning in the past, oppression. We have friction, feeling emotional, feeling, emotional, and sensitivity. So we have conflict. We have determination, pushing upward, the love of the body and coordination. And we have correction in the 18, working on what has been spoiled. So I thought it was kind of interesting: confusion, oppression, conflict, coordination, and working on what's been spoiled. So that's what we have to look forward to in September. Although, you know what, I always like September. September feels like, it's time to kind of get back to work. The summer, it starts changing into fall, so it'll be interesting to see how that all shows up. All right, we also, just as a reminder as well, we are still in the current environment of the 9-1 of sensibility, the balanced and responsible approach to problem solving, the ability to avoid frustration through the creation of new forms, or after hasty and frustrating search, the urge to kick in the door when the key is in your pocket. Right. So just be watching for that, both personally, but also just as the general background for society and the collective. Also, this delusion, false enthusiasm, the expression of talent through daydreaming, or the tendency to express fantasy as fact, the public communication of inevitably unrealized claims. This is also a part of the era of planning that we're currently in as well. So it is also highlighted. Both of these are highlighted because not only are they part of the era of planning, but they're also part of our background frequency currently as well. So just as a reminder. All right, let's dive into today's theme. So today we are looking at trait 40. This is trait 40 of deliverance. This is aloneness. This is the power of the will to deliver. And this is the love of work. This is often the Forman as well. We'll talk about that here in a moment as well when we take a look at large groups or large organizations. It's the point of transition between struggle and liberation. It's the survival of the community, and the survival of the community is dependent upon a sustained and strong will, right? It's connected to willpower. When involved in work that is right for you, you deliver great satisfaction from delivering what you've promised to those that appreciate you. So one of the things about the 40 is that you are willing to work hard, but on the other side, you need to be appreciated and honored for that work as well. Any bargain. So this is also, when we take a look at the 40, it's also connected to bargains. Any bargain made to deliver resources for your community needs to be renegotiated often to keep it crystal clear and to keep it fair. So bargains are going to be very important for you, especially if you have trait 40. And as I mentioned before, it's the Forman, right? It's the importance of balance between work and rest. So one of the things that a Forman does is they take a look at how, when to work, when to rest, when to work, when to rest. And because we're dealing with willpower here, it's really important, especially if you have the 40, that you balance work and rest. This can be the love of work, so it can be overworking. So you have to be careful of that as well. So all three of our panelists, besides me, have trait 40 in their design. And what's one of the other interesting things about trait 40, if we take a look at it specifically this week as we go through and have trait 40, what is grounding trait 40 is the 37. This is one of those oppositions in the wheel. So that's why I have this opposition here that actually creates definition. And what I mean by creates definition is there's a trait on either side. So what grounds the 40 is what's on the other side, which is the 37. The 37 is about family. And so it is, in a sense, working for the good of the community, working for the good of the family, working for the good of the tribe. And so, again, that balance between work and this community and connection, this creates the strength of community. So this is really all about community as well. This is also part of the background frequency that we're currently in the era of planning that's also starting to fade away. So we're going to have a different definition as we move into the era of the individual. We talked about this yesterday when we talked about the mini summit when we took a look at the global cycles and the global paradigm shift. So I think it's an interesting dynamic. So I would love to hear from our panel as far as in having that trait. How's it shown up for you? And Shelley and Anna, you have the strength as well. So Shelley, would you like to start?
Yeah, sure. Just all these things flowing through my mind as you're talking about it. Definitely, I have this in my design in my unconscious past and future. So it's the environment that I'm most comfortable working in. And when I look at my life, my husband also has the 40, and the two of us have been called the dynamic duo. We've organized so many events, and he's really big on sports, and so I've kind of just followed along with him, building and creating communities in the sports community mainly. And the number of events that we've organized and put on and sponsored, and the amount of work it took to do that. And we've pulled our families into all of it. And it's kind of like this groundswell of continual work. And each of us have, considered we're probably workaholics because there is no rest. It was always, especially in our earlier years when we had lots of energy. Now that I'm into the future direction of the 40 and I have it in the 1, it's all about recuperation. And basically that's what I've been doing for the last 5 years, is just both of us have kind of realized that there's a time to rest now, and that it's okay to rest now, and to sort of really focus on that work-life balance, because we did, both of us, overdo it for so long in the first half of our life, especially. So we're now just really enjoying spending a little more focus on relaxing and recuperating, and having that balance between rest enough until we're bored and ready to go do something else, or until somebody comes and asks us for our help. That's when I find it gets triggered the most. If somebody comes to me and needs my help for something, I'm up and ready to roll. But if I'm too tired and have been going too hard, I now know, no, I need to rest. Don't quite have the energy for that yet. And knowing about BG5 has been great to start to pay attention to our decision-making strategy, to realize how much we probably overworked ourselves in the first half of our life. So
yes, exactly. Yeah, thank you for that, Shelley, and really great example too of bringing people together in all of the events that you put on. Yeah, amazing.
Yeah.
How about for you, Anna?
Well, I have a little story to me that just sets this up perfectly. Years ago, I was in my 20s, didn't know a thing about BG5, it wasn't happening then. But I was talking to a friend, and he and I were on my front porch, and I had a hammock on my front porch, and I used to love to sit in the hammock. But the mailman would always come right after lunch when I would like to sit in the hammock and take a rest. And so I would get out of the hammock, and I told my friend, I don't want him to see me in the hammock because he'll think I'm lazy and that I'm not doing anything. And he looked at me shocked. He said, I would love it if somebody thought I didn't have to work or do anything. But that was the mentality that I was in at that time, is partly from my upbringing, conditions and all that, but just my own drive, my own will to work. It was a very exciting time at that time, but I didn't have the concept of rest and permission to just be idle. I could do that inside the house, but I didn't want the world to think I was, not working. The other thing, this point of the transition between struggle and liberation, a lot of us the Olympics were on recently, and they're all about the story of the effort and the struggle and the work and all this stuff. And then there's these different stories of achievement at whatever level, whether you win the gold medal or whether you just make it to the Olympics or whether you serve your country in some way. There's all these variations of the struggle and the liberation. You achieved through the goal you set for yourself. You delivered holding the flag for your country or whatever it was. I just think that's interesting because there's a lot of negativity in I was a psychotherapist for many years, and there's a lot of negativity, or was, about struggle. But struggle is a very fruitful thing if you're allowed the freedom to struggle, to work at something, to strive for something, and you have that sensibility of backing off when it's just like not going anywhere, when you're too tired, or you sprain your muscle, or you can't sing anymore, or whatever it is. Your body will tell you the limit. But if you listen, if you work through the struggle, you participate in that stretching yourself, you find that freedom, that liberation through the struggle. Anybody that's raised kids can see, the struggles of, trying to grow up. We're all still struggling at different levels, but there's a lot of liberation in the freedom to go ahead and struggle and to not struggle as well.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. Beautiful, Anna. Thank you for sharing that. Beautiful example. And how about for you, Linda?
Yes, straightforward. What can I say? I'm a workaholic. I need a chat with Shelley about how to in this part of my life just to have more rest. I have to really laugh out loud about everything you both shared. It's so recognizable, and also what Anna was sharing about the struggle and liberation. When I read this sentence, for me it feels like I have like a ethic of working hard, and sometimes it can feel like a struggle because it's so much, but I also at the same time love doing it.
Mm.
If I have nothing to do, I'm bored. I'm always doing things, and I cannot stop doing things. And my husband, he also has the 40 and the 37. So when we are, I feel like we are also a dynamic duo. When we are working in the garden or cleaning our house, we just are like, I don't know, energy. I don't know even a word for it. We are just boom, 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 getting it ready to do everything. But at the same time, we both struggle with our balance between work and rest.
Mm-hmm.
Because we are so, it's so normal for us to work really hard and to have everything under control, everything in order. So and also I have this twice in my design, and also in the I get punished in Jupiter. And it's in my judge and discipline, and also in maturing energy. So I really feel I have to learn during my lifetime to balance out my energy to work. But if I don't surrender to the flow of life, I get punished, and that I'm not being able to deliver what I would like to deliver.
Mm.
And in certain times in my life, I've really come across that I really had a blockage in work. Either I got fired because I was willing, because my willpower is open, it's undefined. So I was proving my worth so much by working so hard that it got me. And I was fired. I'm really a nice person, but I got fired. I'm really innocent, but I got fired, or I was almost burned out, or I was really struggling in finding the flow in work and having a hard time, really. And also the other thing, because I only have the 40, I don't have the 37, trait 40 is also about aloneness. And sometimes I can feel literally alone because I have such a drive to work so hard that I don't grant myself time to take a rest. And then I take a look at people, friendships, etc., and people that are doing fun stuff like in the 37. And I feel alone because I'm not being part of that. And then sometimes I feel something's wrong with me, and then I feel I'm only working. What am I doing with my life? But also at the same time, loving so much what I do, like BG5, geeking out. I can't help it. So it is such it's sometimes a struggle to find the right balance.
Yeah, exactly. So you can see with this 40, one of the challenges of having the 40, because it is the love of work, right? That you can become a workaholic. You can work too much. You may not have that balance between work or rest. And each one of you spoke of that. Yeah, very powerful.
I wanted to address the bargain aspect.
Oh, yes.
Because as an innovator, I have that sense of isolation and aloneness just by having that design. But also with the 40-37, the whole strength. There have been times when I promised something and it's taken me a lot longer to deliver it because I had to struggle with things. Or the bargain, the other person didn't come through on their bargain. And so I carried the bargain all by myself. And it can take a lot longer, but there is a fruitful experience. There's an opportunity in that to individuate, to find your strengths, to persist, to find all those parts of what will is, to persevere and get through it. And I ended up carrying a couple different things by myself over the years, and actually came to the point where, wow, I'm satisfied. I did it. This was not what was promised, but I promised this part, so I delivered my part of it. And there's a great sense of individuation and personal. You get to really know yourself much better when you have to count on yourself, individually. That other partner or the other team or whatever isn't there. So I think it's a really important, because I made some mistakes in the bargain. I got into one thing incorrectly.
Looks like, honestly,
we didn't check in.
Everybody get frozen? Oh, there we go.
Pardon?
Oh, sorry. It was my internet that got frozen.
Oh, okay. Anyway, the bargain is really important, and it is really important to update it. And, there were certain times when I tried to update it, or somebody else tried to update it, didn't work or whatever. But when a bargain, there's a beginning and an end to a bargain. And those are really important designations. So if you're making a bargain, what's your timeline? What's your, what are you agreeing to? Who's doing what? Those are important things to enter that bargain through your own authority.
Yes, absolutely. And it's part of the current background frequency as well. If we take a look at how work has been set up, work is all set up around the bargain. You do this and we pay you X amount, right? Part of the challenge we talked about in the summit as well is that that's starting to go away and we're moving towards the era of the individual. So it'll be interesting to see how things change in the workplace based on, this particular dynamic, moving out of the background frequency. But yeah, the bargain is a big deal here.
Just another quick comment. I was watching on, I think it was Netflix or Hulu, the WeWork program, about Adam Newman and the WeWork business that he was in. And it's fascinating because you see all this and the shadow part and the agreements and the it's fascinating. I mean, to me, it's worth watching with thinking about this particular trait.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, and when we take a look at then the quality, because we're currently in quality number 4, when we take a look at the quality of trait 40 and quality 4, it's about organization. Remember, whenever we have quality 4, it is about the influencer. So the elevation is the power of the ego when organized and active to maintain separateness. So again, one of the parts of the background frequency is this aloneness as a part of work. Shelley and Anna and Linda all talked about this aloneness. So this is the power of the ego when organized and active to maintain separateness, the power to transform the intuitive intellect to select and organize for the purpose of maintaining deliverance, being able to deliver. The challenge is the empowering of the ego through the capacity to organize others. And it can be an uncontrollable zeal that ignores the quality of support in preference to the quantity, which in the long run may destabilize deliverance. So we have the power of the ego when organized and active to maintain separateness, or the capacity to organize others. So I don't know, do any of you have it in quality 4? I don't remember. You should have taken a look.
Yeah, no, mine's in 1.
Yeah.
But I definitely experienced this in my work life in the computer industry. As a tech, I was a business analyst and project manager, and this is all about what I was doing continually, was organizing other people to produce project work, and constantly bringing everybody back to the bargain. And wait a minute, are we doing this? That was an ongoing process in that kind of a thing. So we used an agile methodology. So it was all about communicating and getting really clear on what it was we were delivering over and over and over again. Because what you think you're delivering is not the same in everybody's mind. It takes a lot to pull those details out. They don't present themselves until you get so far into the project. So that was an ongoing process for me, for sure.
Yeah. Very powerful.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that, Shelley. Anything for you, Anna or Linda, that you recognize about this or have seen about this or have insight about? Yes, Linda, and then we'll go to Anna.
Yes, I feel like in the organizations I've been working in, I've seen the challenge, and especially that the quality of support, that it ignores the quality of support and preference for the quantity. I feel like that is something that in our era of planning, I hope that it will go away. But I feel like that is because it's in quality 4, it's about influencing, it's about interacting with others, it's about bonding with others and creating something together. And I feel like in lots of organizations, because there is a driver or driving force that's all about money, that the quality is just going away of deliverance, and that the talents and the qualities that are there within the organization or within the team are being ignored as well. And then I feel like there will be burnout, because then the will to deliver will go away. And that's also what I noticed with myself, that I was so willing to work hard, and that because of other things in the organization, I was kind of ignored, or it was taken for granted that there's the bargain. And then my will and my energy were just going away, and I was feeling like, well, it doesn't matter what I do, because I don't get the recognition, and nothing is changing, and everything stays the same. So I feel like this is something that we see a lot show up.
Yeah. Great example. Thank you, Linda. And yes, Anna.
Yeah, to segue a little bit from what Linda was talking about, since I have the strength, the 40-37, and I'm really interested in regenerative business. There's a whole shift right now from this top-down model of organization, because the 40 is the provider, and the 37 is the distributor, and so of resources, of wealth, or whatever you're dealing with. But in a business setting or a team setting, the transition from sort of this top-down mythology, this willful, there's both things. It can be willful and overpowering, or it can be the will to stay organized and respectful and maintain balance and communication. Or you can, the transition is back to delivering more compensation to the people that are participating in your team. And you said it, recognition, Linda, to recognize the resources you're using and not use them all up and destroy everything in the path. This sort of Capricorn possibility of getting to the top no matter what. A lot of that is disintegrating, and so many people want to work through a meaningful calling and participate. They're not, the millennials, a lot of them are not so interested in huge gobs of money per se. They want this experience of ethics, of balance, of regeneration, of looking forward and looking out for their peers or the land. And it's a very different way of organizing.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. And we can see that in the shifting of the times too, that, this particular strength is going away. This 40-37, this bargain is going away, and we're going to start working in a completely different way. Yeah, thanks for bringing that up, Anna. And it actually goes into how you get affected when you're connected. Taking a look at the shadow of trait 40, and when you don't have trait 40, if you have the 37 on the other side, but not the 40. So if we take a look here, the questions are you working hard but lacking the resources for your community or family to thrive? So it could be working, like overworking, working too hard, trying to overcompensate in that way, but not having the resources that you need. Do you feel like work is not getting done to create the products or services needed for distribution, right? Because you have, in a sense, the 37, which is basically distributing everything, but you don't have anyone who's producing or doing the work. Do you feel like you're looking for those that can deliver the resources needed for the community? So the problem is that the proper bargain needs to be established so that the worker gets supported from the community while the community gets the resources from whatever the worker provides. This is what Anna was talking about. So like in a family, someone must work to bring in the money and they expect to be supported emotionally in return. Now, that's why I have this picture here. So the solution is really you're designed to work in partnership through a balanced bargain. This is exactly what Anna was talking about. The 40 is the willing provider, right? Is the worker, the willing provider. The 37 is the distributor of the assets and the skills that the 40 provides to the community. So together you create a bargain that work gets done for the good of the community. So this is exactly what Anna was just talking about is, these two are designed to work together. Again, they're oppositions in the wheel as well. It's one of the pieces when we take a look at the OC16, we have the work and then we have the community. So you have to have, in a sense, that family feel within a business, but you need to make sure that work gets done. This also indicates, in a sense, that balance between work and rest as well. So, part of the shadow of the 40 is that you can end up overworking or trying to overcompensate in that arena, trying to get the resources that may feel like they're not there. I don't know if there's anything, Shelley or Anna or Linda, that you would like to add here.
Yeah, that just made me realize that a lot of my focus in working with teams of people I worked with was, in times of real strong pressure where something had to get done quickly. I was the one sort of with the willpower moving it along. And then at other times, as soon as there was a time for a rest or the ability to take a break, I would be the one advocating on behalf of my staff that they take that break, that it wasn't, it was something I recognized down deep that was important to do, that you can't just keep going all the time. And, you work so hard on a particular thing, taking some extra time off is important to do. And so supporting people from that perspective. And I always found it really challenging to do in our current work environment where everybody's supposed to work 35 hours a week and you have to have overtime approved. And I never paid any attention to that. We just worked while the work was there to do and took a rest when we could. So I think that's a much more natural way to work, flowing with the cycles of both whatever's going on in the background and for each of the individuals. So I'm excited to be in this time where, like Anna said, that's starting to shift. And that's really my focus for my business, is all on that regenerative work culture and helping create that for people, working with the leaders to help them. And Anna inspired me with that, but it is also in my design. So it all fits. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And this is we talked about this in our mini summit as well. This is a part of the era of planning, working alone, providing for the good of the tribe. And again, that bargain of doing work for a paycheck, as an example, that whole paradigm is shifting. That whole paradigm is moving away. So, it's going to shift more into what is our individual strengths, what really calls to our spirit, and doing work for the not necessarily alone, but doing work as an individual, and our reward is being able to connect with others at a very deep level. So really doing what our soul has us do versus just working for a paycheck. There's a big difference there. And we were talking about the millennials as well, that again, they're not as interested in just working for a paycheck. They want those experiences. They want something that is exciting and something that fulfills them versus just to make money. Yeah, exactly. Is there anything, Linda, that you would like to add?
Yeah, talking about this, I realized that with having trade 40 and a couple of years ago, I wasn't able to deliver. I wasn't able to work due to a car accident. It was so painful not being able to deliver. So that I realized suddenly, now we are discussing this, that part of the pain, not only the literal pain of my accident, was also in disappointing, from my point of view, my husband and my family in not being able to contribute what I used to contribute. And it was a forced rest. And I don't like that. And I almost feel not jealous, but I feel like, oh my goodness, like the millennials that you're talking about, that they are so, not all of them, but so grounded in that they say, okay, I'm not going to work 40 hours and just and not being able to surf or to hike or to have party or whatever they would like to do. And I feel like, yeah, it can be, this bargain can be painful, especially also when there are no words, when you are expecting things, but you are not having the literal bargain. For example, with my employer, because I was just thinking about, if I just work really, really hard, I get rewarded, I get promoted. And that didn't happen. And I feel like, oh, in the new era, I love that the connection that is created within the collaboration will be more of a more spirit to spirit, instead of like the factory model that we use still, because we are used to work from 9 to 5. That's just the way things go, and we are not in a factory anymore. But sometimes I feel like and that's also what Anna shared, when I take a rest and somebody sees me resting, I feel like, oh my goodness, what will they think of me? Because it's not the way we are conditioned, we are expected. Well, that's the how I feel it and experience it, to work hard. And if you're not able to, or you are resting, then something is wrong. And I realize now, with taking a look at this trait, that's painful.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so we can see the sort of the shadow of the 40, and how, how to be really aware of that as well. And we have our celebrity with the life work theme, and we have Dr. Phil. If you're, I don't know if everyone's familiar with Dr. Phil. He's an American TV host. His life work theme is planning. When needed support and the right bargain are in place, you possess the skills and gift of logic and the command of detail to build what is needed for the community. So Dr. Phil is an American television personality. He's an author and a host of a television advice show called Dr. Phil. So he holds a doctorate in clinical psychology. And he rose to fame with his appearance on Oprah Winfrey Show in the late 1990s. But again, it's all about this support and the bargain and the skills to build what is needed for the community. So he had an advice show to help people deal with issues, problems that they may have. And so again, that ended up being his work, right, in Quality 4. So I love that. I don't know if anyone wants to add anything.
Oh, well, just that he's been extremely influential, that's for sure.
Yes, exactly. Because remember, the four
The four.
is the influencer, so he
Yeah.
is there to influence, and who and who he influences, right? It's the advice show, so it's people that have been introduced to him through his networks that he advises
Mhm.
on different topics, different things.
Yeah.
Yep,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
So, all right. So with that, again, I just wanted to, and I'd love to have our panel just think about what to leave people with as we wrap things up. Again, I do want to remind everyone that the mini summit is available. The replay is now available, and you can get it on YouTube. You can find it on YouTube, and you can also go to BG5businessinstitute.com. Under our free resource in our resource library, you'll see all 3 sessions there. So I invite you to check it out. We do talk about the 40 as well as the 37 in the session 3 when we take a look at 8 aspects of the global paradigm shift. So again, that 40 and that 37 are part of this global paradigm shift that we're in. So we do talk about the trait 40 in that particular mini summit as well. So I'd invite you to check that out. Also, if you're new to BG5, again, you can download your free chart from our website at bg5businessinstitute.com. You can also watch past episodes as well as BG5 Live in our resource library, the same place where you'll find the mini summit. You can also take a look at what the trait is for the day if you go to our website and scroll down to BG5 Live. Also, early registration ends soon. So if you are interested in taking any one of our courses, we recommend that you register early. You also have an early bird discount when you register early. So that registration ends soon. So it depends on the class. It's typically 2 weeks before the class starts. We have extended for the BG5 foundation course that Linda is teaching. We have extended the deadline. So that's going to be next week. So you have a whole extra week to register. So just take a look at the website, find out when the registration ends. Again, it's coming up very soon. And we're going to be starting our classes here soon in September. So excited to see everyone back. All right, so let's wrap everything up. What I would love to hear from each of our panel in taking a look at just experiencing quality 40, or I'm sorry, in experiencing trait 40, there we go. In experiencing trait 40 this week, what should people be aware of, pay attention to? What are some takeaways that you would like to leave everyone with as we wrap up today's BG5 Live? Would you like to start, Anna?
I think the takeaway is the reevaluation, the rebargaining of what work is. You know, for a while it's been the standard of like Shelley and Linda were talking about the 9 to 5 or the, certain kind of schedule and all about product and producing and getting your award or recognition that way. But the shift is actually creating work that gives us our uniqueness, not just as an individual. We use that word that the transition is towards the individual, but what that really is your individual uniqueness that you get to participate with, and therefore you're valuable. So I think that the takeaway is the suggestion to reconsider what work really is.
I love that. I love that. So take a look at your own personal work and reconsider, what is work? What is the love of work? And do you love your work or not? Right? And if you don't, maybe there's something that needs to shift. I love that, Anna. Thank you so much. How about for you, Linda?
Yeah, I totally echo what Anna shared. I feel like it's an invitation to take a look at what you are doing, what you are delivering, and what it brings you. and also be aware of the tendency maybe to work too hard, rest too little, or just feel like you are the opposite, you're feeling the opposite, like you feel like, oh, I don't like my work, and it's like in your face. I can also imagine that this can influence this feeling by having this trait in the background. Yeah, and also, yeah, maybe be aware of your role in the world and your place, and take a look at the bigger picture. And also, yeah, what Anna shared, like work in general. What is work? And for me personally, my passion, it doesn't feel like work. But if you are working too hard, it becomes something that can be a struggle. So yeah, it's interesting to see how this shows up in your life.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mm.
Yeah, thank you, Linda. Now, how about for you, Shelley?
Wow, yeah, that's amazing that both of you guys have said great. It's really interesting to me how this is a focus right now, that this is the background frequency in this time that we're in this transition of shifting from working for someone else to just to bring home a paycheck, to shifting towards our individuality and really starting to pay attention to what it is we really want. And I would say something also about giving yourself permission to re-examine or let go of a lot of conditioning all of us have had around this for the last 400 years. That this has been a huge focus, and that it's possible to do what you love and love what you do, and succeed materially. And I think that's what this big shift in this time is to help people search for and find what those things are that will actually really bring them that satisfaction, peace, surprise, delight. And yeah, I think it's a great time to be doing this kind of work, and that BG5 absolutely definitely helped me figure that stuff out over the last few years as well. So if you haven't already jumped into some of this, the training, the foundations, a great place to start to really get a handle on yourself and your own design and what you really are here to do that would deeply satisfy you.
Yeah.
So
Beautifully said, Shelley.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks.
So take a look this week at your love of work. Take a look at how you're working. Do you have work-life balance or not? Take a look at what the future of work is. So it's a brilliant time to be able to look at that and consider it, ponder it, contemplate it, and see what it brings forth for you. All right, everyone, it has been fabulous geeking out with our panel. Thank you, each and every one of you who is attending. It's been great to have you all here, and we look forward to seeing you next week as we move into September. All right, everyone, have a great week. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.